beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It's a beautiful day in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border, in the crown of Maine, and it was a beautiful day wherever you are as well. Did you guys watch the State of the Union address last night? Otherwise known as Joe Biden's political campaign speech. I did. I fell asleep during it, and as a result, I had to get up this morning. And while I was having my cup of Joe, I had to listen to Uncle Joe. And, oh, gosh, it was just a political campaign speech. Had nothing to do with the State of the Union, because the State of the Union is trash, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. If you're watching me on YouTube, think about subscribing to my channel. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. You guys are the real MVPs of this channel. Without my audience, without you guys, there would be no channel. I would just be screaming into the abyss. I'd probably still do it because, you know, I raised 3 kids. I'm used to screaming into the abyss. I had a goal of 150 subscribers. By March 2024, we have 152 subscribers. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Please think about subscribing to my channel. Hit the notification bell. YouTube may or may not let you know I put up a new video because they often don't like what I have to say. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the video. Any attention's good attention. Comment in the comment section. I will comment back, even if it's just to say, hey, I like hearing what you guys have to say. I like hearing your opinions. I like hearing about what's going on in your lives. And I really do appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. If you're listening to me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and now Pandora, think about giving me a 5-star rating. Follow my podcast. I'm a variety show. I do a different thing every day. Usually, if it pops into my head, it flies out my mouth completely unfiltered, and we're both surprised by what I have to say. I talk about homesteading. I live on a homestead. I live off-grid. We talk about livestock. We talk about life, liberty, the pursuit of your happiness, my happiness, everybody's happiness. We talk about marriage, life, love, big kids, little kids, grandkids. We talk about politics. We talk about current events. We talk about the world. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, spicy content, things you can't say on these platforms. I'm over on Rumble. Join me. Coffee with Kerri-Lynn, no hyphen over there. That's Coffee with Kerrillynn on Rumble. I am monetized on Rumble. So is everybody else. I am also on the social media platforms. I am on Facebook and Instagram, Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. I'm on X at Coffee with Kerri. Join me, follow me. I will follow you guys back. Now let's talk about last night's debacle. Well, it was a campaign speech, as always. If the Democrats, if Uncle Joe really cared about the State of the Union, we would have heard that we were getting solutions. We have an economic crisis in this country. Uncle Joe, I don't know if you noticed or not, but we do have an economic crisis. People can't afford their mortgages or their rents. They can't afford their car payment. They can't afford their utilities, and they can't afford food. I understand that the CEO of Kellogg's tried to help out last week in case you were having trouble putting food on your table at dinner time for you and your children. You could always, give them a bowl of cereal. That is highly offensive to me, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. When these big conglomerations, these huge corporations are telling you, if you can't afford putting chicken on your table, why don't you substitute a meat night or a pasta night and put a bowl of cereal in front of your kids? And an hour later, they will be hungry again. We've had lazy dinner nights on the homestead, absolutely, when the kids were growing up. Everybody's too tired to think about cooking. Have a couple bowls of cereal. In an hour, they're having a couple more bowls of cereal. Maybe some cinnamon toast. Who knows? They're always hungry after that. It is not a solution to anything. It is not a solution to anything. To lower your standard of living is not a solution to the rising prices. What is the solution, Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe Biden, we need you to fix the economy. We do. We need affordable housing. How are we going to get that? That should have been in your State of the Union address. We live on a working homestead. There's always something going on. We need lower utility bills. How are we going to fix that? We need jobs in this country. Look at all the jobs that were laid off because the AI is going to take over. What are those people going to do, Uncle Joe? How are you going to fix that? That's what I wanted to hear in your State of the Union address. The economy is trash, Uncle Joe. Democrats. The economy is trash. If you are a citizen, go out there and ask your neighborhood. Ask your neighbors how their economy is doing. Their personal economy. Go talk to the older people in your neighborhood. Talk to the young families in your neighborhood. Talk to the empty nesters in your neighborhood. You want a pulse on what's going on in the country? Talk to your peers. Don't listen to these fools up in Washington, down in Washington, wherever the heck they are. Their heads are in the clouds. Their heads are in the clouds. They don't live in a reality-based world. Politicians do not live in a reality-based world, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful creatures of the world. If you're just discovering this, welcome to reality. Talk to the young person, the 16-year-old that got their first job, that looked at their paycheck in horror. I love it when young people get their first jobs. It's so amazing. Reality comes crashing down on the 16-year-old kid that's been living OPM on other people's money, also known as the First National Bank of Mom and Dad, who do not understand that every time they ask for something and receive it, it has probably been a hardship on Mom and Dad's pocketbook. Something didn't get paid for you to get what you got in today's economy. Now the 16-year-old goes out, gets their first job, looks at the paycheck, sees all them taxes came out of it. They feel robbed. It's a lovely moment. I loved the moment when the children got their first jobs. I really did. It's eye-opening for the children. Now they go to the store because now they're going to take what they have left. And they are not going to ask you for things that they want. So they're going to go to the store and buy it themselves. Well, last week what they wanted was $30. This week it's $35. Shock and horror. They're all aghast. Oh my gosh. This is when kids start understanding that, living off OPM, other people's money, is a heck of a lot easier than going out and carrying the water themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, your politicians live OPM. They are not based in reality. If you go out into your neighborhood, you will hear firsthand how people are struggling. Your elderly people are struggling to put food on their table. Your empty nesters, maybe they've picked up an extra shift here and there because they don't have nobody home that they have to take care of, but the bills are still coming in, and they want to, keep what they have. So they're willing to work a little more. You have your young people, they can't afford homes, they can't afford cars, they can't afford food. They're losing the American dream. I wanted to hear, Uncle Joe, how you were going to give the American dream back to our young people. What's the solution? What you got? What Uncle Joe had was, get more money over to Ukraine. No more money to Ukraine, Uncle Joe. No more money to Ukraine. Fix what's broken here. That's what I wanted to hear in the State of the Union address. I wanted to hear the economy is bad, the economy is broken, the economy sucks, and here's how we're going to fix it. We didn't hear that. What about the border crisis, Uncle Joe? Laken Riley. That's how you pronounce her name, President Biden. Laken Riley. You absolutely flubbed that up. Of all the flubs that you did, well over 80 of them last night, you should have at least got that young woman's name correct. Laken Riley. And because of your crappy border policies, Laken Riley no longer exists in this world. It's your crappy border policies. You're letting criminals into this country, President Biden. Can't do it anymore. I wanted to hear how you're going to deport these criminals. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, if you come into our country illegally, you cross the border illegally, you sneak in, you stroll in, you walk in, you hop in, you jump in, I don't care how you get in here, and you come in through the border, you are a criminal. Every man, woman, and child is a criminal. And as far as CPB goes, you're criminals too. Letting him come into this country. We're going to talk about that in a different episode. Criminals are let in over the border, and we no longer have a beautiful soul in the world. Her name is Laken Riley, President Biden. You shouldn't have flubbed that last night. That was offensive. Let me tell you the story about Laken Riley, in case you haven't heard, in case you've been living under a rock. Laken Riley was a college student. She was on her campus. She was minding her own business. She was going to go for her daily run. And an illegal criminal who crept over our border decided he was going to rape her. And when she fought back, he crushed her skull. How are we going to fix that, Joe? How are we going to fix that? We didn't talk about last night in the State of the Union address, Uncle Joe. We did not talk about the 750 National Guardsmen that Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever her name is, put in the subways. 750 National Guardsmen were called up to patrol the subways of New York City. My feeling about the crime that happens in these sanctuary cities is truly, y'all deserve what you get. You citizens deserve it because you vote these fools in, and they're going to give sanctuary to illegal migrants, to criminals. They're going to put them up in hotels. The heck with our homeless. President Biden, what are we going to do for our homeless veterans, for our homeless families? What are we doing for that? How are we stopping that? I wanted to hear that in your State of the Union address. I wanted to hear the solution for that. We got a solution for what we're going to do with people crossing your open border, but not for the citizens of this country. It's a shame. So as far as sanctuary cities go, I think you all deserve whatever you get. However, this subway thing, 750 National Guardsmen called up to secure the subway, as well as state troopers, as well as transit authority. Now, what they're doing in the subway is checking backpacks. They're not checking persons, they're checking backpacks. They're doing it randomly, which next thing we're all going to hear is they're profiling. They're doing it randomly. They're not searching everybody. But these sanctuary cities cannot control the crime that has happened since they allowed a mass overflow of migrants into their city. This is the first step. This is the first step, ladies and gentlemen, to martial law. These things creep up slowly. They do not happen all at once. It's not bam, martial law. It's we need help. Make it stop. Make it stop in the subway. And pretty soon, it's going to be make it stop on the street. And then next thing you you have martial law intact. And that's how it happens. It's a slippery slope. And politicians are sneaky. Did you hear about the subway conductor that put his head out of the window? This is what conductors do as part of their job. Before the subway train takes off, the conductor looks out the window, make sure nobody's too close to the platform, make sure the doors are closed. He had his throat slit. Yep. Because we have open border policies. And I did not hear a solution, President Biden, as to how we are going to close that border. I did not hear about deportation. I was listening, but I didn't hear about it. What I did hear about is let's give more money to Ukraine. What I did hear is, I promise we are not going to be putting boots on the ground. And I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't know why we're warmongering so badly. What is the significance to keeping this nonsense up in Ukraine? Ukraine cannot hold its own against Russia. They just can't. They are not a superpower. So what is the big push on this Ukrainian thing? It's not their children and grandchildren that are going to go overseas, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. It is our children, the children of the citizens, if we keep funding this nonsense. I heard that we are funding Israel. And I also heard that we're going to give aid to Hamas, to Gaza. All in the same breath. Right then and there, the admittance that we are playing both sides of the fence should send red flags to every citizen in this country. Enough. Stop all the dang financing. Stop it. I didn't hear anything about the stopping of sending money, of sending aid to these countries. All I heard is that we were going to promote more war in these countries. There were many, many gaffes made last night during the State of the Union address, and nothing was really addressed. We have a bad economy. We have a drug problem. We have a migrant problem. We have a housing crisis. People can't afford in this country, and yet they're all hell-bent on sending the money out of this country. Because, you got to launder the money somehow, don't you? Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, I hope you weren't too disappointed by last night's State of the Union address. I think that everybody expected it to be a political campaign, and it was. I wish that it had been different. I wished that it had been a lot more reality-based, but it wasn't, because Washington doesn't live in the same reality as you and I live in. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, thank you for listening to me today, and we will join each other maybe tomorrow. It's the weekend. I might take the weekend off. You never know. But definitely, I'll see you guys on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, carpe diem, because no one promised you a tomorrow.